This week on Around the Monitor, Randy Pitchford has a magical week, and 150 employees walked out at Riot Games. That's a lot of AFKs. Get ready to go Around the Monitor.
Let's go.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Around the Monitor for the week of May 10th, 2019. I am your host, King Kaiser, and this is the weekly gaming news talk show where every point you make in the discussion is a point towards winning. You can catch the show live every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. You can watch the VOD the next day on YouTube, listen to it on iTunes, and we also now have a Twitter twitter.com/around the monitor, that's around the monito, because R is one letter too long. But we do have facebook.com/around the monitor and at around the monitor on Instagram. So check those out. Oh yeah, dude. With that, let's talk about our guests here. We've got the unlucky tacticianer, the Green 8 Ball.
Two quick things. You mentioned the Around the Monitor on Facebook. Read some of the comments on how cleaning them up and sending them to the right place. And then also compliment Kaiser's hair right now, because holy pompadour.
Hell yeah, man.
The pomp is.
We've got the magnanimous Mandy Moore. We've got the Snapshot Crackshot, the Fisher King.
And ladies and gentlemen, everyone's favorite guest, Hio 590.
Hey!
Fuck you, Kaiser. I thought of that last fucking week.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I appreciate somebody thinking of me, dude. Two people
you,
actually,
buddy.
but I won't get into it.
Actually, how is the
It's
Never
Jesus.
mind. It's not. Okay. Let's get right into this. The first topic this week comes from PC Gamer. Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox Entertainment, makers of Borderlands, has had a pretty wild week. First off, at the kind of gameplay reveal event, he famously before this had said that there would be no microtransactions in the game. Then they came out and said, hey, there will be... you can buy DLC, outfits, customization, stuff like that. Paid DLC will be in the game, yada, yada. So Game Informer made an article, saying, hey, despite what Randy Pitchford had said before this, there will be microtransactions in the game. Randy Pitchford then tweeted back, I think it was something along the lines of, like, you fucked me on this. Like, why would you do this to me, Game Informer? And
Oh fuck! I can't believe.
Thank you. So just the CEO of a major company. Who do I want to start this one with? 8 Ball. Actually, okay, no. So 8 Ball, do you think Game Informer's reporting on this was fair?
It is a shitty clickbait title. First of all, that's how you get stuff
For
to sell
sure.
nowadays. Why are you afraid of Fire Emblem worked? So, or why I'm worried about that worked. So you have
You're
to use clickbait. But the problem is, I think people are really befuddling their language now of microtransactions, and also representing how bad it is. Microtransactions as a norm, or just if they're done well, are not bad. Everybody just assumes they hear it, they're automatically bad. That's not how it works. If they're done incorrectly, they're awful. Look at EA's Battlefront 2, where you have to pay to play with other players and buy other maps and stuff. If it's for add-ons, skins and stuff that don't inherently change the game or weren't removed from the original content, I've said this 90 times, it's not bad. And I'm worried that that's what they're kind of doing, because he just specifically said in the comments, like, hey, it's mostly for skins. Borderlands 3 has other problems, trust me. This, I don't know why they're picking this. They're just trying to draw more news and to their own site. So I disagree with the title. I actually agree with calling them out too. Not many people also call them out. This guy's a piece of garbage. By the way.
Randy Pitchford?
Yeah, but just throwing out as a side note right here.
I think, yeah.
But On this
garbage is accurate, yeah.
on this topic, he's actually not a piece of garbage. He is actually somewhat correct for the first time in maybe generations. So,
All right.
give him credit. Working Fox is great twice a day. So.
All right. So, Mandy, follow-up question to that. Is it... So, as Randy, as the CEO of this company, is it positive that he's out there in the comments doing this, or is it negative? And on top of that, would this whole situation been okay if he had handled this differently? Like, was there a way that he could have gone out on Twitter and made these statements and had to be okay and not kind of blow up in his face?
I would fucking kill for this question.
I have to say, hell yes. It's like very clear that he didn't handle this well at all because he called people nitwits.
Well,
and so I think that anytime a CEO calls someone a nitwit, I just can't like listen to what they have to say because, you know, as the head of a fucking company, you have to show some respect and like present yourself in a way that demands respect. And he didn't really do that. So he could have done better.
I agree. I think nitwit is maybe the least of his worries as far as words to use on Twitter, but
it's a really common insult, yeah. It's around a lot.
Fisher. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So continuing this story later on in the week is part of Randy Pitchford's magical week that he had. It was revealed.
I want to get off Mr. Pitchford's
wild
ride.
It was revealed that the voice actor for Claptrap in the former games will not be returning because he no longer works for the company. And before, he'd been doing it basically on like a well, I work for you guys, so it's okay. You know, this is kind of just free pro bono work, which according to 2K is a normal thing. The parent company of gosh, what is it? I just said their name. Gearbox, thank you.
Gearbox.
They said it's a totally normal thing to happen. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's not important. If it's a normal thing, it's a normal thing. David Eddings, the voice actor for Claptrap, said he's I'm not going to do it because I'm not with them. But he said, oh, if they want me back, I'll take money to do it. And then he was revealed that he said that they would not pay him for it. Then Randy Pitchford came out and said, no, we did offer to pay him. He's just bitter and disgruntled. And then David Eddings came back and said, okay, I can't stand here and let this guy just mouth off. He said something along those lines and basically said, like, on top of that, on top of Randy being kind of a dick, he actually physically assaulted me at VGC in 2017, I think it was, which is around the time that he left the company. So you can put two and two together to say maybe he left because of this. Fisher, also, yeah, Dapper Daster in the chat makes a great point. He is not a voice actor by trade. He actually was in a higher up position in the company, making a pretty good salary.
He was like the CIO.
Yeah, something wild. But so Fisher, how do we feel about these claims from David Eddings? Like, what do we make out of this?
That Randy Pitchford is the piece of garbage the gaming industry has known he has been for 20 years now. I'm not surprised by this at all. I think Randy Pitchford is a piece of crap, and he's handling all of this very poorly. Even if he is terribly offended that this guy took to Twitter and claimed that he wasn't doing it because they wouldn't pay him, just shut up. Just let it go. Like, hang on 1 second, sorry. Okay. You don't gain anything in this battle. Like, all you do is make yourself look like an asshole on Twitter. Like, stop. CEOs of companies, stop going on Twitter. That's it. Full stop. I don't know. There's no like qualification behind that. Stop doing it. Like, what are you're yelling at reporters. You're attacking old employees. You're getting in fights with Twitch streamers. You're bragging about how much money you have. You're saying you don't want to come back. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm this is Cliff Blazinski. Oh, it's the same fucking person.
You know, I thought you were gonna reference somebody else who's pretty big on Twitter and says some pretty inflammatory shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if our president's
there it
allowed
is.
to bash people on Twitter and who won't give a shit about it, what's the problem?
I'm sorry.
here?
Who is that?
Oh yeah, I'm not paid enough
Oh, Big Donnie T? Not familiar.
Yeah, I'm not paid. Donatello? Yeah.
Oh,
My least
thank you,
favorite.
Mizuki in the chat corrected. David Eddings was apparently the VP of Business Development. So, there you go.
What a fucking business.
Yeah, it's
title.
pretty. Yeah, I don't even know what that position would do.
He develops
money.
He develops business, but he's not good enough to be the top of that.
Hayo. So 2 questions here. One, so obviously I think there's some people who are for stuff like this because it's like, hey, here's the head of this company who's out here talking to the people on Twitter. It's a direct line to him. I think there is something slightly admirable about that. It's mostly just the way that he's going about it. Do you think there is a way for Randy to kind of walk this back at all, to not appear like this crazy person, and not just in light of this week's events, but also the whole event we talked about last year where he lost the flash drive with all the info on it? He said something about
I forgot about that
shit show with the
magician. That girl's not a porn star. She's a fucking magician.
She's a magician.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
How does he come back?
Can he, or does he just need to get does Gearbox need to fire him? Because I will say this, Jim Sterling put out a really good tweet that he's like, funny story, haven't heard anything from Randy Pitchford on Twitter for a few days. Wonder why that is.
Hayo, can you in fact save this man's whole career?
So, who's that guy that everybody that has sort of recently been going downhill because he's been doing crazy stuff before that? Elon Musk. He was on Twitter. He was saying, hey, don't worry, I'm going to shoot some cars into space. And everyone was like, oh my God, I love this guy. I can't get enough of this guy. All Mr. Pitchford needs to do is just not be crazy while on Twitter. When you have this much money, it's so easy to do literally whatever you want. You can even be a dickhead and still be the CEO of your company because you got money. Just use your money and say, hey, random intern, like, give me something cool to say on Twitter. And they're like, oh yeah, say, oh, I'm having a bad time, and we'll like Photoshop a blue eye on you, and everybody would love it. Be skyrocketing to Elon Musk previous levels of fucking love and shit. Yeah, this guy makes one funny meme or hits the nail on the head for something important, and he's good to go.
Just to clarify, what was the blue eye thing?
What are you talking about?
If you Photoshop with one blue eye, was that a reference to something, or did you just say that?
Yeah, I think you know what the reference is, you fucking shut up.
Wait, but explain it for the people who don't.
Yeah, for the dumb people, not like me, but for the other dumb people.
Yeah, the other one.
Well, sometimes I'm not explaining it. Hell no, are you kidding me? I'm not gonna pretend like I know.
You heard
what
it
I
here
was talking
first.
about. I'm just repeating what I see
Take
on
points
the
away.
Randy
Points
Pitchford
away.
is a half blue eyes white dragon.
Shit, there's only 2 of those.
Final.
Oh my God, your Nightbot's
Yeah,
evil.
Nightbot's killing people in the chat. Side note. I just want to do a final round of everybody's opinions. Yes or no answers. Should Randy Pitchford step down from his position? 8-Ball, what do you think?
You want to go in the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
order
yeah.
we answered? Okay, go ahead, Jason.
Because I'm just curious what people think. Okay.
no.
Okay.
Yes.
He should be stepped down.
Hayo?
Yes, but not for the Twitter comments, for the fucking.
Yeah, I think the assault.
Yeah.
magician
I think
Oh,
the
no,
assault.
comments and all
I
that
should
shit,
add. There was an update where Gearbox put out a statement saying we take these allegations very seriously. That being said, we would love to have David Eddings come back and work with us if he wants to. But they didn't say anything about doing an investigation or anything, which it kind of feels.
They said that.
It feels very
Yeah,
weird.
Wait, so they said all of that in one statement? Hey, sorry you got assaulted.
Exactly.
You wanna come
No,
work for us?
it was one
Yes.
sentence later. They were like, "But if you want to come work for us."
Something's weird. That's why I said no.
I hear the vague sound of lawsuits.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
distance.
What
Anyways,
does that sound like? Just out of curiosity.
Papers fluttering. I assume.
Not right.
Dang, if only we had Dapper Dastard here to tell us the sound of
Boom.
lawsuits.
I like that. I heard it.
All right, let's go on to the next topic here. This one comes from Kotaku. This week, Riots at Riot Games, the company well known for its free and open workspace. Over 150 Riot employees walked out to kind of stage a protest against the forced arbitration that the company forces all of its employees to engage in. Basically, forced arbitration means that the employees waive their right to sue in major court. Have the most shit in the background of their camera. Thank you, Hello Nugget, for your on point, on topic comment.
Personally attacked.
This bedroom is fucking
Anyways,
clean.
so let's take it in reverse order here. Hayo, how do you feel about employees being forced when they sign their contract to work for a place to also have to sign a waiver saying they agree to forced arbitration?
I'm surprised that's all they're being forced to agree to, because I've worked for some people who force you to. Actually, I have no idea what they force you to sign for, because I don't pay attention to that, actually. Which is probably why
Hayo's firstborn child is already decided amongst 3 different companies.
And they will fight.
Yeah, man, that'll be great. No, I mean, you got to make money, so you got to do whatever the fucking company tells you to do. And if you don't like it, you leave. But apparently, I'm the bad guy for saying just go work somewhere else. People are like, no, that doesn't work. You can't make other video games. It's like, no, just fucking. I say it all the time. Go make an indie game. Zach loves them. He will buy every single one of them, and you'll be good to go for life.
I sure will.
All right.
Okay.
That's all I gotta say.
Do you think there's any chance that Riot is going to lift this forced arbitration after all this protest?
Geez. After their 2-hour walkout, half of which is the designated lunchtime for the fucking company. No, this is a corporate sanctioned walkout. This isn't anything. Like 150 out of like a 3,000 person company walked out. This is an elongated lunch break where a bunch of people sat down and got on Twitter. This isn't anything. This is like they fielded questions from the rioters prior, in which like one of the questions is, what do people that don't want to walk out do? Oh gee, like this isn't a protest. This is a company covering its own ass by saying we're supporting our employees' right to do whatever the fuck they want, including protest. We're not gonna acknowledge their right to sue. But I mean, that was in the past. That was old Riot. What do you want us to do? That's not us. That's the old guy. This is fucking bullshit. And I blame the employees 100%.
Oh well.
Don't take the crap they give you. Fucking walk out, leave all day. Go take a shit and leave.
Wow.
And don't
I think you
flush.
go to jail.
If you shit in the bathroom?
Yeah. They got me for that.
If you fart in somebody's face, though, you're good.
Right, this is Riot.
That would be a fucking protest. Everyone farts at once and leaves.
Oh lord.
Ew.
I wouldn't protest that. I'd stay
Well,
working.
I'm not even gonna make the obvious joke to that one.
I made the joke for you.
To clarify for the people in the chat who don't know, 8-Ball doesn't have a sense of smell. Anyways.
You can still taste.
Shut up.
Mandy, so Riot said, quote, "We respect rioters who choose to walk out today and will not tolerate retaliation of any kind as a result of participating or not." Do we think this is it?
Oh,
it's kind of bouncing off of what Fishy just said. Is there any chance they break this promise? I mean, if they do, I feel like they're gonna face a real shitstorm of bad press, although they're kind of already caught in a bad shitstorm of press. I don't know. I guess also, in general, your perspective on this whole thing as the only female on the show right now.
I'm so glad that I have a vagina because I love to
Yeah.
on this. All right. So I think that if there is any retaliation, it's not going to be because Riot was proactive about it, and then like anything that they do after that, it's just going to be like, we have to cover our asses now. We have to clean this shit up. It's not because they were actively like, all right, let's look out for this shit and make sure it doesn't hit the fucking fan. And you know, I kind of agree with Fisher King that this 2-hour walkout wasn't as serious as it could have been. However, I think it's kind of expected from their culture. I just don't think that they are equal anything for men and women. Let's just, you know, I feel like that could be a whole another rant, but like we've already seen them kind of like gatekeep what a gamer is and say like, oh, you know, women can't be gamers and you're not a real gamer if you don't do this, this, and this. So it's like, I don't know, Riot as a company, I can see why people want to work there because they play this game and they enjoy the game even though they have their own gripes with it. And so maybe that's why people like don't go to the walkout or they only do it for like 2 hours. But I think that their culture is shit and they're not gonna make like insane changes because I think that first of all that would come from the company and they don't sound proactive, but then also it comes from the people, and gaming culture is just really toxic.
Do you think
I mean,
there's any way for them to fix this? Like, what would be the route in your opinion, like moving forward from this?
I would say stop the forced arbitration. I feel
because
like
let me put it this way, because
like,
if they do lift the forced arbitration, they're going to be facing multiple lawsuits like instantly, which is why they're not doing it.
Then they're fucking pussies. They're like they're scared to
get
deal
'em.
with
Put
the
'em in a
shit
body
that's
bag.
going on inside of their fucking company, and they'd rather just have like a shiny outside and a shit inside than like have goodness throughout, you know? And I feel like it's very disingenuous to like fucking keep the fucking forced arbitration and be like, we totally care about you guys. That's why we're letting you do the walkout. You know, I feel like if they really gave a shit, they'd be like, all right, let us hear what you have to say, and we don't care if it's like person to person or if it's in fucking court. We'll hear what you have to say because we respect you and we do want to change things. And that's not the message I'm getting here.
And last but not least, 8-Ball. Rioters have said, this is kind of bouncing off of what Mandy said here. The Rioters have said that if nothing is addressed or changed by May 16th, which is when they're supposed to have like their next company-wide meeting, quote, we do have plans and we do have days that we're planning and we do have commitments that we have responses for. Man, that's a bad quote. Reading it out loud, it sounds much worse. What? I don't know. Is this anything the company should actually feel threatened by, or is it pretty much just going to be everything hush hush as it has been for them?
Okay. There's been a lot of people who have done a whole lot less than Riot and have gotten way more. Shout out to Mark. But seriously,
there it is.
Basically, Riot has gotten away with sexual misconduct, this farting in the face, people legitimately quitting higher-ups, CEOs, their entire Brandon Beck CEO having very major controversy, women having to have their own panels because of how they're treated in the workplace, their game being very... the dynamic queue, I know it's more balance related, but they've survived stuff. I'm just saying, they've survived a lot of shit. And, yeah, Clash failing, like, for 90 times in a row. Like, they can't die. I don't know why. They could do anything, maybe besides like murder somebody or something. I don't fucking know. That they probably have at this point.
I mean, they've murdered Rise 5 times.
I don't think this is gonna stop them. That's pretty good. 150 people. Somebody posted on Reddit. One of the few gems I've seen on Reddit after mining for like 100 ores. Basically, this gem was, hey, when you're comparing people at Riot who are moving through like the promotions and stuff, and you see, oh, you have 5 people left. 2 of them worked on or walked out and did this thing, and 3 of them didn't. Well, guess what? Those 3 look much better or like solidified with the company, so you're already just isolated or screwed because of that. It's just intimidation factor, and you know, it's just if it's not a majority, like it's only 150 out of how many people. Riot's a huge company. I don't think they're gonna feel threatened by this at all. And as long as their player base stays like that, the views keep going like that, they don't have to feel threatened.
Yeah.
They're good.
Damn. Tough times. But this does actually put us in a tie going into the final round here. Luckily, I do have a trivia question for this.
Oh, shit. Let me get Google.
No. 8-Ball and Fisher King. Here's the tiebreaker question. Whoever gets this closer goes to the final round. Later, after this show, we're going to be doing a debate on the order of the official ranking of the Nintendo consoles. The lowest selling Nintendo console of all time, the Virtual Boy.
Okay, but yes,
how many units did it sell in lifetime?
All right. Oh man, the worst thing is this might be too many.
Let's go for it, man.
6,000.
I want Fisher King to go first.
6,000?
6,000. It can't be less than that.
I'm gonna go. 15. 15,000.
It was actually 770,000. So much closer to a million, but not quite a million. So 8-Ball's going to the final round.
Fisher,
So
wait, they sold more than 6 units? What the fuck?
Dude, I was guessing 10,000.
Fisher King and
they sold 600,000 units of that turkey.
Fisher King and Hio 590. It's time to go home and become a family man.
We're like a Gundam.
Final round. Fight.
So we are back in the final round with Mandy Moore and the Green 8-Ball. So this round we're doing something different. We've got 6 topics ready. I'm going to read through them real quick, and then Mandy, you're going to start off picking which topic you'd like to talk about. We've got Game Workers Unite calling for testimonies against the sexual predators at Quantic Dream. The Switch is poised to launch in China, but Nintendo's president doesn't expect it to sell well. A U.S. senator is going to introduce legislation to ban loot boxes in the United States. Apex Legends is likely to receive a mobile port. Mortal Kombat developers talk about nightmares they have from designing the game's more gruesome components. And Microsoft is developing a controller to help the visually impaired read with Braille. Mandy, which of these topics would you like to talk about?
I'll take loot boxes.
Damn it, I want to give you a point for that. All right, Mandy, I'm going to give you a minute to talk about this one. Please take it away.
All right, I totally agree with this. I think we should ban loot boxes for kids because their brains aren't developed fully. And even at like early 20s, it's not developed fully, but like especially for kids, like maybe teenagers we can like cut some slack, but for kids they shouldn't be fucking around with loot boxes because they are really addictive and they can like really rack up a lot of money for the parents, which like nobody wants to spend money on loot boxes. But really, I'm really worried about the effect that this is going to have on the kids because every time something feels good, that's like your serotonin pathway lighting up, going like, yeah, give me more of this. And like kids are like, yeah, I want more loot boxes, and the parents like, I don't have any fucking money, but also this is bad for you because it's like literally gambling. And they're like, I don't get it because I'm a kid, but I want it because it's shiny. And it's like, no, don't do this. So
my question to this is because you're saying, hey, mainly for the kids is your route is would you create a separate label on the box like, now we rate games like teen, mature. Would you put a separate rating above that, like loot boxes? And if you're not above a certain age, you can't play that game or can't buy that game, I guess.
I don't think that those labels do anything anyways, because your parents can
I agree 100% with that.
A mature game. Yeah, so I mean, it is up to the parents. But ultimately, like, if you look in the App Store, they'll say there's a label in there that says like in-game purchases are enabled or something, and I think that there should be something similar to that if there's microtransactions and loot boxes. Like it should, I don't know, like maybe just a loot box symbol and say, loot boxes are in this game.
8-Ball, what topic are you going to bring to combat Mandy's there?
Do it again. I'll do we'll do the Chinese. Actually, I'll do the Apex because I feel like Mandy might want to talk about that. Strategy. Maybe.
That was yeah. Okay. Apex Legends coming to phones. What do you feel about that?
Okay, well, first of all, Apex and Fortnite have a very Wendy's and UDF relationship where they like keep stealing ideas from each other and then like meme at each other on Twitter like, haha, we got you first. Look at our respawn. Oh, look. Oh, you have that season pass? Oh, let me slide it over here. Because like, Fortnite's going to all kinds of different systems and stuff and going to mobile. I'm not surprised that Apex is doing this. It's a smart move. It's what you're supposed to be doing. You're a battle royale. Get out there while you're still hot because, in my opinion, hot take, not very hot because now it's cold. Apex is not doing so great. I think it's going to sink a little bit lower than because it doesn't make the changes that it needs to make rapidly enough as Fortnite does, and it doesn't appeal to the people who are expanding on these battle royales as much. And I think what usually happens, and this is not 100% true, but it's happened in the last 10 years or so, one esport-esque genre game, CSGO, League, or I guess Overwatch is its own thing, but they usually outlast and beat and stay atop the other ones, and they just become the king of that genre, and nothing else can touch them. Apex is not going to be able to beat Fortnite. I don't think so, unless the Battle Royale thing dies itself. They're not good enough. I play the game, I like it better, but they're just not good enough. Their loot box system's awful. Speaking of which, Mandy mentioned out they should ban them. Apex needs to just ban. They just need to rework their entire fucking thing. So, yeah, they've got a lot of problems. But Apex moving this in general is a smart move for them. In the now, they need to do it.
Oh, really? You're for it? I totally thought you were going to be against it.
They need to go to MOBA. They need to go to MOBA.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
don't like it. I won't ever play it on mobile. My battery won't.
Fair. I think.
Yeah.
I think I'm still going to give that one to Mandy. I think her argument of more concerning about the kids was an interesting way to frame it.
We are the kids who are
actually, yeah, Hello Nugget makes a great point. Mobile is a huge Asian market, which actually, if anybody wants to take the Switch question, now would be a good time.
Who's turn is to pick?
I'm gonna go with the Braille controller.
Yeah, so Microsoft is developing a controller to help the visually impaired by reading in Braille.
Okay, so I am 100% for this, because I like the idea of inclusivity, and I think like if we can do stuff for like colorblind mode and subtitles on the screen and just kind of stuff like that, then having a Braille controller would be hella fucking dope. Now my only concern is it's gonna be executed like shit, and then they're gonna be hesitant to want to get into gaming and be like,
"What's that? What's that? A corn?"
Be like, and they're gonna be like, gaming just isn't for me, and it never will be. I really would like to see Xbox or Microsoft like really work on this and make it awesome and really include this group of people who probably have a hard time gaming because of their mobility disorders. And that would also allow cool grandparents to join in for gaming. People with like Parkinson's. I will say,
Xbox already does have what is considered to be the best disability-enabled controller right now. Not their actual controller; they made their own. So I think this is more in line with what they're doing already. 8Ball, what topic are you taking?
I'm going to China.
Cool.
Switch. So, ironically, the other series or the other consoles that he mentions that failed really well are the 3DS and DS. And if you know anything about it, sounds look cool. I do not want to look at myself on this channel right now. What I was doing, I was scrubbing a Jade Buddha, but I got distracted. Anyway, the point is that China doesn't go for that kind of stuff. They go for like the mobile games, like Hello Nugget said. They go for battle royales. They go for games they can, no offense, cheat in.
Well,
there's a lot of cheaters. That
okay.
No,
okay.
but
no, keep talking.
They can hack it, and there's a large market of random players they can they go from competitive games they can get an edge on. Now, I'm not saying bad, but no matter what I say, it's gonna look bad. So it's great. But the point is, they can't do that on a 3DS and DS. Those are party games and party systems. I don't think the Switch would do well over there. He is correct. I think they're more competitive.
Yeah, I mean, the main point of the article is that the Switch is going to launch in China, which has the biggest market of gamers in the world. However, mobile and PC are largely, by far, the high on the chat. Does anybody want to come on Asian gamers like games they can cheat on?
I really want to comment on this because it is like a job over there to elo boost. Like, I don't know like how to not put it, but that is like things that are just okay to do in China as compared to other areas and other regions. That's what I'm kind of referencing
Fair.
with that.
I think I understood where you were going.
So I should have been more clear on that, so it doesn't look as bad. But
the wording was problematic.
elo boosting is like a yes,
sure.
Because I always get burnt on that stupid.
With that
thing by
being
Hio,
said,
so.
I think I'm gonna give the point to Mandy, which would then in fact make her the winner of this week's episode. So there we go. Mandy, are you ready to speak for a minute in the final in a minute to win it?
Hell
All right,
yes.
Mandy, please take it away.
Well, all I want to say is, it's been a pleasure versing 8-Ball again and kicking his ass again. And, even if it went to, like, the third article, I was ready to say some shit about Mortal Kombat. And I just love this victory because it's been a long time without a victory. And, yay! And defeating 8-Ball just feels oh so much better. Thanks, 8-Ball. Good effort. But not good enough.
All right. Well, with that, let's get back in the chat. Man, oh man. Some awkwardness on the stream there.
God.
And I do
That is
apologize for that. But
I can't.
all right. Well, Fisher's just realizing we're back in the show. All right. Well, that's gonna do it for this week. Anything to plug, guys and girl?
No.
Nothing from Hio, Fisher. Anything coming out for you?
No, next week.
Okay,
Maybe.
Mandy. Anything you want to plug this week?
No.
Yo, old school RuneScape though.
Hey, we'll plug that in a second. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Anything, Mandy?
No. Just take care of yourselves.
8-Ball. Anything to plug?
You're
You're
still
muted.
Wait, me? Oh, he is.
No,
No,
him.
8-Ball.
I would have said I would have plugged my randomizer on Twitch, but it got erased. So I'm
Oh,
not happy with that. Don't go to that.
Something whole career.
Yeah, I do Stardew Valley, but for the most part, it's usually late and everybody's probably in bed. But if you want to vibe doing that and not hear me say stupid stuff, then let me know.
Fair.
So
Yeah, in the chat, I just posted one more time our our different social media links: our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, and also the YouTube link for the channel. If you don't mind giving us a sub there, that'd be a huge support because we post other content apart from the show. But give us a short minute here. We're going to reset, and we're going to do a definitive ranking of the Nintendo console lineup